Yeah, I was just starting the recording. I will also be posting this recording on the web. We will all get an email to download the link, so you don't have to pull out your notepads and pens or papers. And it'll be a very fast-paced session. That's what I can tell you. We'll talk about SolidWorks tips and tricks. My name is Pradeep. I'm a senior application engineer at Beacon. This is a presentation that I have used for the SolidWorks user group meeting that we had a couple of weeks ago. I'm pretty sure some of you would have attended it. So I'm going to use the same presentation. It's a little bit informal, but don't mind, please don't mind. So we are right on time. Let's start off. SolidWorks tips and tricks. I'm not a huge fan of the word tips and tricks. I would like to think, or I would like to look at them as, small nuggets or best practices that help you with using SolidWorks a lot faster to make speed up your production and to be a lot more efficient. So I'll show you some new tools along the way and some of the old ones as well. But the most of the focus would be around using SolidWorks faster. What I'm going to focus on is a couple of key areas. The first one being the user interface. As you all know, SolidWorks has the best user interface among all the CAD platforms out there. But we'll still explore how we can tweak them and get the most out of it. I'll talk about the toolbars. I'll talk about the keyboard shortcuts, mouse gestures, etc. These are all in the interface part of it. And then we'll move on to the SolidWorks capabilities, namely, sketch tools, part design, assembly, and then drawing. So I have a lot of content to cover. So it will be really a fast-paced session. And now I also will be posting this on web. So please stay with me and let's kick it off. So as I said, this is going to be the overall agenda. It's not going to be a PowerPoint-oriented webinar. This is our first webinar of the calendar year 2012, and we intend to keep this rolling. So we are starting off with a great topic, tips and tricks. As I said, these are best practices that will help you improve your productivity when you are using SolidWorks on a day-to-day basis. This is the rough agenda interface. We'll start with very simple, very basic toolbars, keyboard shortcuts, and then I'll show you some Windows 7 cool stuff that you can do with Windows 7. As you all know, SolidWorks is tightly coupled with Windows platform, so most of the shortcuts and most of the tips and tricks that you use in SolidWorks will also apply to Windows. For example, tiling the windows horizontally, etc. And we'll later move on to part design. We'll start with sketch tools, some basic sketch commands, smart dimension, etc., etc. And then we'll move on to assemblies and then drawings. So the overall objective is to save time. It can be anything between a couple of seconds to as big as 1 minute. So if you add up all these tiny amounts of time that you're going to save, it will be a huge productivity gain. So toolbars. On my screen, I have a SolidWorks 2011 with every single toolbar open. So as you all know, SolidWorks has got a lot of toolbars, weldment, sheet metal, motion, etc., etc. So this is with SolidWorks with every single toolbar open. And the point I'm trying to make here is, you see how much little space we have for the 3D graphics. It is really small. So the objective is to maximize the space. SolidWorks emphasizes on having the focus on your design, having the focus on your product, not on the drop-down menus, not on the commands or toolbars. So my first tip to all of you out there, especially older users who are used to having toolbars, let's just get rid of them. Keep it as simple as possible. So this is the SolidWorks interface, which is right out of the box. So this is a sweet, simple interface with no toolbars open, but I'll later show you how to customize your command manager so that you don't have to lose anything. In here you have the maximum 3D graphic space available to work on your product, to have the focus on your design. So let me pull up SolidWorks and I'll show you how to customize the interface. So let me wait for a couple. Yeah, so I have my SolidWorks 2012 here. Absolutely love it. So Here, what we have on the top is called the command manager. You might have all known this, you might have all been using this. So what you might have not known is you can really customize this command manager. All you have to do is right click and you can toggle on and off any toolbar that you want, any weldments, sheet metal, etc., etc. So it really depends on what you use on a day-to-day basis. If you're really a sheet metal guy, yeah, let's have the sheet metal and let's lose the SolidWorks motion and other tools that you don't require on a day-to-day basis. What you can also do is really get into the customizing part of it. So here you see all the standard SolidWorks toolbars, feature, sketch, sheet metal, weldments, etc., etc. On the last, you have a tab where you can actually right click or left click and then create a new tab of your own. So I'm gonna do a new toolbar. I can give it a name, and then what I can do is go to commands, and then I can drag and drop each of these commands onto the new toolbar that I have just created. So it can be anything. It can be something from drawing, something from rendering tools. I'm just dragging and dropping them randomly, so don't ask me why. So the point I'm trying to make here is you have your own toolbar, and you can also toggle it on and off based on your requirement. You don't have to have it all the time. It depends on what you're using, but I highly recommend using a new toolbar with all the commands or the features that you're going to use on a day-to-day basis. This will really help in keeping the graphics interface or the 3D graphics space really clean. You're maximizing the real estate here. So that is my first step. I know it's really simple. The next thing I want to get into is the keyboard shortcuts. I know many of you are huge fans of the keyboard shortcuts. So especially the older users from 2005, 2006, I know they are huge fans of this S key, which is the shortcut key for the user customizable toolbar. I'm pretty sure most of you know this, but I'll simply throw it out. And then what we have here is a cage match between the S key and the mouse gestures. Mouse gestures is a newly introduced feature from SolidWorks. I believe mouse gestures always wins over the S key. So what the S key really is, it's a user customizable toolbar where you can have access to your commonly used commands. So the idea is pretty simple. It eliminates the mouse movement from the center of your screen all the way to the toolbars. I'll later show you how to even customize the shortcut toolbar. Also, you can have the shortcut toolbar for different modes, like it's different for sketch, different for part design, different for assembly, as well as the drawing. So on the shortcut key, on the shortcut toolbar, you can have as many commands as you want. Whereas with mouse gestures, you'll be even eliminating the mouse movement more. So it's even more faster. But the only limitation I see here from the mouse gestures is you can only have 8 available commands in each mode. And you can still have the shortcut bar the S key. So nothing to lose here. So I strongly recommend using mouse gestures. Let me just demonstrate to you real quick. So I have a new part here. So when first let's talk about the shortcut toolbar because it will be unfair to skip it. So when I press my S key, I have a pop open window or a pop open toolbar which follows my mouse. So wherever I go, I can just click the S key to launch this, and it will be different in different modes. This is the part mode, and it will be different for assembly. This is for the sketch mode, and as you can see, it can accommodate more than 8 commands. So SolidWorks did a study a couple of years ago, and the reason for them to do that was there's a lot of time wasted from not having this kind of a shortcut bar, because you have to go all the way to the top of the screen or the command manager or wherever your toolbars are, and then you have to come back all the way to the middle of the screen, again finish your operation, go pull something else and come back. So this is hours and hours and hours of mouse travel when you look at it in a bigger picture. So SolidWorks came up with this shortcut toolbar which follows your mouse wherever you go. So this is entirely customizable. You can right click on it go to customize, and you can drag and drop your commands onto it, whatever you are using. It's in sketch mode right now, so you can it's only appropriate to pull on the sketch commands. Also, you can customize it for part mode as well as the assembly. So this is the part mode shortcut toolbar. You can just right click, customize, and then start dragging and dropping your favorite commands. And let's move on to the mouse gestures now. This is one of my favorite features of SolidWorks. What you have here is 8 different commands at your disposal. So how to launch it? All you have to do is right click, drag. It's one continuous movement. You're not wasting any time here. You're not going to pick anything. Let me just open up a part so that I can show you. So again, the movement is right click and drag. So I have a small assembly open on my window. I'll just wait for a couple of seconds for you to see my screen. Yeah, there you go. So all you have to do is right click, drag. It's one continuous movement, and you can have 8 different gestures or 8 different commands at your disposal. Again, this is entirely customizable. You can customize it for your assembly mode. Right now, I'm in assembly mode, so have something like move component, which won't be completely relevant to something like sketch environment. So the way to customize it is go to tools, go to customize. So tools, customize, and you have something called as mouse gestures, wherein you can see a list of all the commands in SolidWorks, irrespective of it is sketch, drawing, assembly, or part. The way you customize it is we have a dynamic, dynamic text search. So if I want something like a smart mate, all I have to do is type in and you'll have it here. So I have smart mate assigned as my mouse gesture for the top button, for the top direction, for sketch mode as well as drawing. And really this dynamic search really helps. Let's look at mates. And I have mates for assembly as well as drawing. So a really interesting capability or a nugget from SolidWorks. And one more important tip is you can actually print this list. You have this print list icon on the top. So you can actually print this list and paste on your desktop so that until you get used to them. I suggest or I recommend you just print it out and keep it. Same thing with the shortcut bars, the keyboard shortcuts actually. So you would have been using the shortcut key bar, but what you can also use is keyboard shortcuts. Like let's say something like mate. We all know that we use mate and dimensions a lot more than the other commands. So what you can actually do is you can assign a shortcut for mates, like let's say M for mates, and let's do smart dimension, something like D for smart dimension, because S is already taken by the shortcut toolbar. So let's just go back to SolidWorks window and see how it works. All I have to do now is press the M key, and the mate window will be open. The same case with the smart dimension shortcut that we have just created. All I have to do is press the D, and have my smart dimension on. So what this does is it eliminates the time that you take to go all the way from the center of the screen to smart dimension, and then again come back and pick, do your picks and clicks. So we are talking about time saving of, let's say, a couple of seconds. But when you look at it in a bigger picture, when you are working on a CAD platform like SolidWorks day in and day out, like let's say 8 hours a day, it's gonna be a huge time saver. I highly recommend that you start using mouse gestures. If you are already using S key, I want you to migrate to mouse gestures. And if you are not aware of the S key, you can start using S key and then later move to mouse gestures. You can also assign macros. If you are using some macros, you can use mouse gestures to launch that particular macro. So it's a real time saver. And we can comfortably say that the winner here is the mouse gestures over the S key. As I said, this was an informal presentation done for user group, so please don't mind. And what I have on the top is a shortcut toolbar. What I have on the bottom is mouse gestures. So you don't have to get rid of your shortcut bar if you love it so much. You can still have it, and you can assign it to one of your mouse gestures. Like what I have here is the mouse gesture for the right direction. I have my shortcut bar still available. Unfortunately, this is available in 2011. In 2012, I think they got rid of it. So they want you to use mouse gestures more and more. So I strongly recommend this. Let's move on to the next nugget. It's a G key. I'm pretty sure some of you are already using this, but it's a real nifty tool. What it does is it launches a magnifying glass on your window. It can be any environment, assembly part, etc. It doesn't matter. All you have to do is press the G key and it launches a magnifying glass. The best part about it is it zooms independent of the actual view that you're looking at. So it zooms independently, and you can also have a cross-section view when you do Alt plus G key. So let me just demonstrate it. But the only you don't have a control over the section direction here. It's always parallel to the screen. This is just to interrogate the assembly more or dig into the assembly more without having to hide or unhide components. It comes very handy in large assemblies. Let me just go to SolidWorks and launch the G key or the magnifying glass. So what I was talking about is it zooms independently. So you can see the rest of the assembly is staying the same. And when I click Alt, it launches a section view of it. So you can actually zoom in more just to get a better interrogation of your assembly, what's there inside, etc. As you can see, the section is always parallel to the screen, no matter what. It will always be parallel to the screen. So it's a nice nifty tool to dig more into your assemblies. And it follows your mouse wherever you go. You don't have to drag it, or you don't have to click drag it. It follows your mouse wherever you take it. That's one more interesting shortcut key, the G key. And as I was talking earlier, you can always create your own keyboard shortcuts. What this does is it eliminates a lot of time. Again, as I showed you earlier, you can create a shortcut for your frequently used commands. I recommend Smart Dimension and Mates because you'll be using them more and more. You can also print out a list and keep it on your desk till you get comfortable with it or till you get used to it. So make your own keyboard shortcuts. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is king of the keys. What we have here is the Alt key. So SolidWorks guys in Concord, they love Alt key so much. I have no clue why. In fact, you don't believe it. They have 17 different uses or applications for the Alt key. 17. I know we all know that Control and Shift are prominently used for selections, and they come handy when you're doing the multi-picking, etc. But Alt key is a very versatile key. It has a very varied applications, varied users, 17 different of them. I'm not going to talk about all of them. I'll just maybe cover, let's say, 5 or 6 of them, and then I'll share the document, and I'll also put a video for you to download. So, as I talked about earlier, you can use it in magnifier to turn on the section view. Also, what it does is you can use it to underline the shortcut keys on the menu. I know this is a Windows standard. Let me go back to SolidWorks. So you might all know in Windows we use Alt key to highlight the respective menus or drop-down menus or pull-down menus or whatever you call it. So as soon as I click, you can see as soon as I click Alt, you can see that all the menu items on the top have have highlighted with their respective underlined alphabet, like let's say F for file, E for edit, V for view. I know this is a Windows standard, but SolidWorks also sticks to it. So if you are very comfortable with your keyboard, you can use Alt key to launch your pull down menus or drop down menus. That's first application. And clicking Alt, you might have known how to use the triad. The triad is uh, the coordinate system that you see on the left bottom. So the way you use the triad is, so you click on a particular axis, and it on the assembly or the part, it orients accordingly. So what you can do differently with Alt here is you can start holding down Alt and click your triad axis, and what this does is it rotates the assembly or the component on that particular axis. So really cool thing that you can do if you want to rotate your assembly by a finite measure. You can do that using Alt and the triad. What is next? Oh yeah, if you're using your middle mouse button to rotate your assembly, we all do this very frequently. We use our middle mouse button to rotate the assembly, but when you hold Alt, what it does is instead of rotate, it does roll. So one more application of Alt here. So your middle mouse usually rotates the assembly or the part or the view that you're looking at. Now holding down Alt and the middle mouse will actually in fact roll the assembly instead of a rotate. I don't know how many of you know this, but it can come handy. One more interesting application of Alt. Yeah, this is the one I like the most about it. So you can actually insert a table, let's say a bill of material. Okay, yeah. How many of you, I don't think many of you would have known this, you can actually insert the bill of material right inside the assembly itself. So if you're looking at an assembly and you're constantly referring to the bill of materials, you don't have to switch between windows, like you don't have to always go back to your drawing. What you can instead do is you can have your bill of materials inside the assembly environment itself. It comes real handy. So what I have here is a bill of material for the assembly that I have on my screen. And the application of Alt here that I was talking about is if you want to move this bill of material around, what you usually have to do is grab this move icon on the top left corner. We all know this. We do that in drawings all the time. But every time you have to go all the way to the top left and then grab it and then move it. But instead, if you're using Alt, you can move it by clicking anywhere in the assembly. You don't have to always go and grab the top left icon. Instead, just remain wherever you are, click Alt and move the table around. This will come real handy when you're dealing with SolidWorks drawings, when you have tables like bill of materials, bend tables, hole tables, etc. Also the views. Let me just go and open up a SolidWorks drawing, because this holds good for the views as well. We all know how how tough of a time we face when we are trying to move the views, especially if you have a very intricate and complex drawing. What you have to do is you have to grab the view carefully by the bounding box or the border that you see. So let's say I want to move this view. I have to carefully grab it by the outer edge. I can't, if I click somewhere in between, it will actually select the particular area that I'm clicking. I can't move it. So what I do is, using Alt, I can click anywhere inside the view. I don't have to grab it by the outer edge. Instead, I can move it around. So one real nifty application of Alt again. It holds good with the bill of materials as well. You don't have to grab it by the top left move icon. You can still be able to move the views or tables. This is really neat when it comes to moving around tables and views. Where were we? Yeah. Okay, I think I covered at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Let's move on. I'll show you a couple of other applications of alt keys when we are doing smart mates in assembly, so I don't have to cover it right now. I'll deal with it when I'm in the assembly environment. Also, this is again interesting. The first one here, prevent assembly restructuring during reordering of tree. Like let's say you have a large assembly and you're trying to reorder your assembly tree. And when I say that, I mean you are trying to move one component over the other. And at times you have sub-assemblies in your assembly tree, and that time it becomes a little bit trickier because what SolidWorks actually does is it assumes that you are going to put the part inside the subassembly. It actually does that when you take a part, move it on, and let me just demonstrate. Okay, here we have an assembly, and let's say I want to reorder it. SolidWorks will let me do that. I can move any part and keep it, place it above other parts. And I have sub-assemblies as well. So what SolidWorks does is if I drag and hover over the sub-assembly, the icon changes and it is suggesting me to do a drop. And I cannot drop accurately if I don't want to drop, and if I just want to reorder, holding the Alt key will enable you to do that. So again, I'll repeat this because it can be a little bit tricky. Let's say you're reordering the structure of your assembly tree. What you have to do is just drag around the components, move around the components. But it gets trickier when you have sub-assemblies, and especially when you want to reorder your part right above the subassembly or right below the subassembly. What it does is it thinks that you're going to put your part into the subassembly, so the icon changes. But you can ignore that, or you can evade that by using the Alt key. Alt key, holding down the Alt key will ignore that icon, and it will actually help you restructure or reorder your assembly tree. So that's one interesting application. Let's move on to the next part. Okay, edit both spline handles on a spline point. I think I'll show you this when I'm doing splines. Okay, next thing I wanted to cover is applications. SolidWorks in Windows 7. Windows 7 is a really cool, has a really cool user interface. I don't know about the performance part of it. I feel it's slightly better, but let's just talk about the user interface, how good it is, and what you can do with it. So when I have my SolidWorks window open, what I can actually do is right-click on it, and Windows 7, if you're using Windows 7, you can see the recently used documents, and also you can access them right from here. So let me go to my desktop. Okay, so here I have my desktop and I have SolidWorks open. So I have actually pinned SolidWorks to the taskbar. You can do that by right-clicking and pinning it. Pin the program to the taskbar. By doing so, you can quickly launch it using shortcuts. I'll show that in a couple of seconds. But if you right-click SolidWorks application, you get to access the recently used SolidWorks documents, as well as you can pin them. Like in this case, I can hover the mouse around the recently accessed document, and I can pin them so that they stay accessible, so they stay at my disposal. So let's say we all use if you're working on a particular assembly, or if you're working on a particular drawing, I recommend using this pinning so that you can launch it right from here. All you have to do is like let's say click this, and it will open up the part of the assembly or the document. That's one cool thing. But if you're using SolidWorks 2012, what you have is even better. All you have to do is click R, and it will launch the recent documents just like in 2011. But what you have here is the option to pin or unpin the recent documents, just like what you have in SolidWorks Windows 7. As I said earlier, Windows and SolidWorks are tightly coupled. So a similar feature, what you can do is you can pin the item pin the document so that you always have access to it. So if you're accessing other documents, these keep changing, but the pinned ones always remain constant and they remain on the top. So you have easier access to them. Also, what you can do is you can open the folder in which that particular document resides. Like, let's say I want to see where this midplane.sldprt is. All I have to do is click on show in folder, and it'll take me to the folder where the part is residing. So that is one neat application. Yeah, this comes with SolidWorks 2012. But in 2011, I believe you have access to recent documents, but you don't have the option to pin them. So what you can do now is use Windows 7 to pin them instead. So that is Windows 7 for you. Yeah, little couple of other applications. Let me. Okay, I'll talk about tiling the windows horizontally. In Windows 7, this is very easy and very cool. What I want to do here is I want to use SolidWorks window in conjunction with let's say a PowerPoint document or a Word document that you're working on. So what you can do is click and drag your SolidWorks window to the extreme left so that it will tile your SolidWorks window exactly on the left half of your screen. And what I want to do is I want to tile this onto the right. I think there's a little bit of delay. Let me just pause for a couple of seconds. So in 2012, you can also do that inside SolidWorks itself. So what I have done here is I have tiled my SolidWorks window onto the left half of my screen, and now I'm going to tile PowerPoint presentation or PowerPoint window onto the right half of my screen. All I have to do is left click drag the application to the extreme right, and it will help you tile it. I'm using a dual monitor, so right now it's not possible. So you get the point. And if you're using SolidWorks alone, SolidWorks 2012, what it does is what you have here is the click to tile left and click to tile right icons. So what you can do is in one window you can open up a couple of SolidWorks applications, and then you can tile them quickly to the left and to the right, and you can quickly instead of switching between windows and doing alt tab, this would be really helpful. But this comes in SolidWorks 2012. This is a very recent introduction. One more thing I wanted to talk about was, let's say you have multiple windows. I know this is really cool. Let's say I have multiple windows on my system, PowerPoint, SolidWorks, etc. In Windows 7, what you can actually do is, I don't know if you can really see this in real time because of the lag that you have. But what you can do is you can quickly shake the document, and all the rest of the applications will go away or will minimize. I'm pretty sure that you're not able to see it in real time, but you can try this out. What you can do is you can just grab the window that is open, that is in focus. You can just quickly shake it, and it'll eliminate or it'll minimize all the other windows that are open in the background. It especially helps users who are used to having multiple windows open at the same time, who like to toggle between windows. This is really cool. And to get them back, all you have to do is again do a quick shake of the window that you want that you're working at. And to maximize it, all you have to do is take to the top right, and it will maximize it. Let me do that real quick again. Let's say I have a minimized window. Let's say I have a window which is minimized, or which is in a all I have to do is take it to the top, and it will be maximized. So this is again a Windows 7. It has nothing to do with SolidWorks, but I thought I'll just share because I know most of the users are looking to migrate to Windows 7. It'll be, I talked about, I think, using pin unpin taskbar as well as window snaps. Yeah, one more cool thing about Windows 7 is you can actually launch the Windows open. Like, let's say, follow my mouse pointer here. Internet Explorer is the first application on my taskbar. SolidWorks is 2. Windows Explorer is 3. Google Chrome is 4, etc. So if I want to launch that particular window, all I have to do is click Windows and 4. So it will launch Google Chrome, which is the fourth application. And if I want to launch PowerPoint, all I have to do is Windows 5. And if I want to launch SolidWorks, it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, Windows 7. So that will be really neat if you're working with a small set of icons on your taskbar. So Windows plus the number of the application or the or the order of the application that you're working with. And a couple of other things. Windows P will help you launch your projector settings if you're connected to projector. Windows, I mean, these are all Windows standard, so let me not waste much more time on this. Let's quickly move on to SolidWorks. So what I have here now is sketch tools. We have talked about user interface and toolbars and shortcut keys till now, but now let's talk about SolidWorks sketching tools. Let's start with power trim. I like this command the most, when I'm using, when I'm cutting down my sketches. When I want to trim something, I always prefer power trim. I know conventional users or older users who are used to, let me minimize this and launch. Let me demonstrate that to you. So what I have here is a part with a sketch on top of it. I'll just show you how to use power trim. So again, I'll use my mouse gesture to launch the command. I always have power trim on my mouse gesture because I'm extremely fond of it. It saves a lot of time, in fact. Let me just draw a quick random sketch. And let me show you the application of power trim. So what power trim does is it trims away the sketch wherever you are dragging it. So it actually follows your mouse cursor and it will create a path wherein it will keep on trimming elements that are not needed or that you don't want. So I can quickly use it to trim away multiple segments at the same time. It's extremely useful. Let me delete this guy. And so this is power trim. It comes real handy when you're doing multiple segments and when you're trimming multiple segments at the same time. What I have here now is, let's say, it can also be used not only for trimming. You can also use it to trim to closest. Like it is a combination of all the other 4 icons that you see, but it depends on how you use it. In this case, I'm using power trim to extend or trim the segment above. Same thing here. And if I want to trim these guys over here, I can just draw a couple of lines, or I can go to trim to closest, and this will actually show me the preview of the sketch segment that is going to be trimmed away. So if you want to know what you're losing or what you're getting rid of, I suggest using trim to closest because this actually gives you a preview, whereas in power trim it's mostly intuitive and you have to know what you're doing. So and extend entities is also nice. Not many people use this. It's a hidden away command, but one real neat application when you want to extend entities. Like let's say I want to extend this particular segment all the way till the circular surface here. What I have to do is click and drag it. So it's really neat. Saves a lot of time if you don't have to worry about the coincident relationships or getting the right constraints out of your sketch. So that is power trim and trim to closest for you. One more thing I wanted to show you is jog line. I don't know how many of you use this. Like let's say I want to have a jog sketch here or a jog line here. We have an option. Let's go to tools, sketch tools, and you have jog line. This comes real handy if you're creating revolved parts or revolved cuts. Even if you want to add material or remove material, you can use this jog line to create jogs in your sketch, similar to the jogs in the dimensions that we have. So what I want to do is create a jog here. So I'll select the jog line command, and click and drag on any sketch, and it'll launch you. It'll create a nice little jog for you. You can click it, and there you go. Let me repeat that again real quick. Launch jog line by placing it on your toolbar, or go to sketch tools and jog line to launch it, and click on any line item that you want to add a jog to, and just drag it so that you will get a preview of it. You can place it wherever you want on either side of the sketch. That's fine. And this will come handy if you are creating multiple jogs like this, especially when you're dealing with components or parts that are revolved. So that's one application that not many people are aware of. What I want to talk about next is, let's see, what do we have on the PowerPoint here? Yeah, the mid-plane creation and the slot tool. I think I need to step up my pace here, but the time lag is it's looking like a couple of seconds between my screen and your screen. So I'll rush through some parts of it. These are really simple mid-plane creation, slot tool, centerline, symmetry relations. Let me just demonstrate real quick so that we can move on to assembly. Where is this? Yeah, the mid-plane. So what I have here is a small component with a cut extrude on it. What I want to do here is I want to create a centerline slot here on this surface, or let's say any entity on them which is midway between these two. So what you can do is you can insert reference geometry. So we all know how to use how to create a plane. All you have to do is create a reference geometry in type of a plane, and your first reference and your second reference is always gonna dictate where it's gonna come. You can clear selections. Let me create a plane which is midway between these two, and something on the similar lines. If I want a midway plane between these two faces, I can create it. But instead of creating a plane, or instead of creating a reference geometry, what I can do is I can directly go into Sketch, and I can launch let's say I want to have a slot tool, centerline slot. I'll quickly launch it using my mouse gestures and create a slot real quick in some random direction. And what if I want the slot to be symmetric? I can make use of the symmetric relation by picking the edges and adding a symmetric relationship between them. So you always have this symmetric to either of the faces. So that is centerline, mid-plane creation as well as slot tool. You can really use symmetry to avoid creating, reference geometry like planes, etc. If you are exhausted with all the options of using symmetry, then you might have to go and create a mid-plane for that. But what I recommend is use sketch relations more and more so that you don't have to create reference geometries. Next thing I have on my cards is not dimensioning. Let's say I want to create a dimension. Let's say I want to create a sketch, something which looks like this. Yeah, let's say I want to create a sketch something like this. So what I have used here is a couple of splines. I know not many of you are comfortable using splines. We usually have a tendency to avoid splines wherever possible, but it's not that complex. It's not that hard to understand. It's really easy. I can quickly create the sketch here within no time. Let me do that. I'll create a couple of circles, and I want to create a couple of lines which are tangent to each other. So again, I'm launching my line command from my mouse gestures, and if I pick a line, usually if I pick a line and if I pick a point on the circle, what it does is it creates a line which is coincident. One end of the line is coincident with the circle, but this is not tangential, so I might have to again control select and create a tangent line. So instead, what I can do is I can launch the line tool. I can wait for a couple of seconds so that the tangent icon appears, or the tangent relation appears, and then if I click on that, Now the line I have created is tangent to the circle, and I can move it around. I can place it wherever I want. Similarly with this bigger arc here, I can click it, but I just wait till the tangent relation appears, so that now I don't have to create an extra relation. So this is tangent again. I'll wait a couple of seconds, just not even a couple of seconds, a fraction of a second. So I have two lines here. I can now trim away the insides of the circles that I don't want, and these couple of lines are going to be construction lines. So let me just do that. And what I want to do now is create a spline here. So I launch the spline tool, just click the starting point and end point, and that's all I need. I don't have to do anything else. But what I have here are the spline handles, which help me locate or position this spline. So I want a tangent relationship between the spline handle here and the construction line that I've created. Similarly on the other side, I'll select the spline handle and the construction line. So if I want to create some complex geometry, don't avoid splines. It's not that complicated. In fact, it's easier than creating a tangent arc and going through all that command, all the set of those commands. Where is this guy? Okay. So there you go. And now I want to dimension this. So dimensioning can be a little bit tricky when it comes to circles or arcs. Usually when you click a circle or an arc, it will talk about the radius or the diameter by default. But if you want to select arc to arc distance, hold shift and select those 2 points that you're interested in. Again, I'll repeat this. Go to your smart dimension tool. If you single click on your arc, it will always show you a radius or a diameter. But instead, hold shift and click the point where you're interested in to the point where you are looking at, and this will create a arc to arc dimension. It can also be, let's see. Let me just go back a couple of steps so that I have two circles and I can show you this better. Yeah. So if I want to create a minor to minor distance, I'll hold shift and I'll hold these two arcs. So I have my dimension here. Similar thing with major to minor, minor to major, etc. Hold shift. And this becomes a little bit tricky when it comes to vertical dimensions. It won't let you do it as is, but you can go to you can go to dimensions and select vertical dimension, and again holding Alt will let you dimension it from the place of the point of the arc where you're clicking it. So that is one simple small trick that enables you to create dimensions faster. Let me just move on to the next part. What I have here is I'll show you a small nugget of a tip which I don't think is well known. So I have a sketch here, a pretty straightforward sketch. Most of you would have come across this situation at least once. If you're trying to create a dimension on an already existing on an already fully defined sketch, what it does is it tells you that the sketch is already fully defined. You don't have to create this dimension. But since you want this dimension, do you want to leave this dimension driven or you want this driving? If I say I want to have this driven, what it does is it shows your dimension, the driven dimension in gray. So you don't have any control over it. You cannot double click it and edit it. So it is really a it's just a static dimension. You cannot. It's not parametric. So what I want to do now is I want to create a dimension which is actually driving. I know this will conflict the sketch. That's fine with me. What I want to show you here is you have this over-defined status on the status bar. So click on it, and it will launch you the Sketch Expert, which will help you diagnose or repair the sketches. So let's say I have this sketch, with which is over-defined actually. What I'll do is I'll just click on diagnose, and what SolidWorks Sketch Expert does is it comes back with solutions. Now it is showing me 5 solutions. which can actually get my sketch to a fully defined state. So the first solution is asking me to eliminate the 20 dimension, 60, so on. So I can just accept it, and SolidWorks will make the change for me. Now it will delete the 200 dimension, and I have a fully defined sketch in my at my disposal. So this comes really handy when you have over-defined sketch. Just don't roll back to one way of doing it usually is people are used to just say undo or roll back and then go back and do it again. But you can also use SolidWorks intelligence here to make lives easier. Let me go back to that sketch. I wanted to show you something else, like virtual sharps. If you want to create a virtual sharp, let's say, let me first create a virtual sharp. I'm just trying to get back to the sketch. Yeah. So in order to have the virtual sharp, I'll create a couple of fillets. Let me trim away this inside piece for now. And then I'll create a couple of fillets, sketch fillets, as you all know. And what we have here is a virtual sharp here at this corner, where you can see two-dimension lines intersecting. So if this is a requirement, if this is something you want to see, I have it on my left-hand side. I don't have it on my right-hand fillet. So to create a virtual sharp, all I have to do is control select both the line segments and click on the point. What this does is it creates a virtual sharp, just like what you see on the left. So again, I'll go back a step and reiterate this. Control select both the sketch segments and then click on the point so that it creates a virtual sharp. Yeah, that's neat if you already didn't know that. Okay, let me move to the next part, which is the assembly. I know assembly features can be really interesting. Assembly tips and tricks. So what I have here is a small assembly. It's a spreader rescue tool. What I have here is a display state to hide off some components. I'll just try to show some mating tips and tricks. So I'll just hide off some components that I don't need for now. You can use display states to do that. You don't have to always keep hiding components again and again. What you can do is you make use of display states. Just go to configuration manager, hide off all the components that you need, and just say add display state. What this does is it creates several display states. It's not exactly like configurations. Display state is just to hide off components, not suppress them. Actually, all the components are already there. It's still there, but all I'm doing is just hiding them for now. And just to get back, you can turn on all the components. All you have to do is right click on this double arrow and then click all components. So what I wanted to show you is how to use smart mates and some assembly tips and tricks. So what I have here is a design library, if you will. I like to keep my folders inside my design library. Like let's say I'm accessing these folders very often. Something like I want constant access to these three parts, which can be something like fasteners or pins or bolts that are custom created by your company, and they're not in the toolbox. That way, what you can do is you can create a folder inside your design library and keep them handy. So what I want to do now is assemble it. So all I have to do is drag and drop onto the assembly, and what SolidWorks does is it creates a smart mate between those two. So you're not really creating mate by launching the mate tool. Instead, SolidWorks will automatically create this for you. And as I said earlier, using Alt key here can also help you in using smart mates. If I want these two circles to be concentric or these two surfaces to be concentric, so what I will do is I'll just click Alt, select the surface, and drop it onto the target surface. And SolidWorks will add a smart mate, which is concentric. Similarly, I want to use a fastener here or something like a pin. All I have to do is drag and drop it onto the SolidWorks assembly at the right placement, with the right placement. So I have dropped it onto the right placement here, but as you can see, it's not of the right size. So I'll just select the right diameter and the right length. SolidWorks uses something called as configuration publisher. If you have your component published in different configurations, you can pick the right length and right size for it on the fly. So this really saves a lot of time and a lot of data if you don't have to create multiple copies for each. What if I want to repeat this operation for these two holes? Usually we start doing the process all over again, but I strongly recommend using something called as copy with mates. So all I have to do is Windows select the particular component that I have added and launch copy with mates. And what it does is it is used to place the same component in the exact same way, but you don't have to select the surfaces again. All you have to do is select the mating surfaces. So it's prompting me for the corresponding surface, and it's same thing for the flat face. It's asking me for the corresponding face. So I have my component placed nicely. So this is one thing that I recommend people using copy with mates. It saves a lot of time. It doesn't matter, whatever the existing process you're doing, copy with mates will definitely save you some time. One more thing is I wanted to show you is this collision detection. This is a very interesting feature. Apart from the interference detection that you keep, that is standardly used, I prefer using collision detection when I keep adding parts to my assembly. Like let's say I have a assembly which has moving components like this one on my screen, and I keep adding more and more and more parts to it. In this process, I often would like to figure out if there are any collisions happening. So what I'll do is I'll launch move component and select collision detection, and I can check this stop at collision option here. And what I will now do is do a free drag, and SolidWorks will indicate or will tell me if there is a collision happening. Actually, I think the system lag is getting on a little bit too much. Let me do that process again. But this time I haven't selected collision detection, so let me select collision detection, and SolidWorks will indicate a collision by indicating the collision with a highlighted color, like in blue here. So in this area there's a collision happening, so you immediately know that there's a problem and you need to fix it. I can just quickly edit the part in the context of the assembly, make this pocket a little bit wider from 95 degrees to let's say 120 degrees. Quickly rebuild it, and this time I'm pretty sure there will be no collision whatsoever. So this really helps in evaluating your components. You can quickly mirror this. And I can turn on the rest of the components now. So that is one assembly content that I wanted to deliver. And next thing I have on my cards is a width mate. This is really interesting. Let me bring on my SolidWorks PowerPoint. Yeah, I think we covered most of it. Next thing we have is a couple of different mates, advanced mates, width mate and multi-mate. So width mate is advanced mate. People start using it when they first hear of it, but quickly they'll get back to their old process or the older conventions that they follow. Let me just wait for a couple of seconds for my PowerPoint to come up. People often use it when they have cylindrical, when they have flat faces, not any other complex geometry. Yeah, the picture you see on the screen, the second picture here that I'm pointing to, this is the standard application of width mate. We usually use width mate for this and not for the other three cases. But what I wanted to point out here today was that you can actually use width mate when you have a cylindrical surface or a circular surface, and when you want to have a width mate applied to it. Holds good for the other two cases as well. So let me demonstrate a small application where I'll create a width mate between a cylindrical component and couple of flat faces. I don't want to show you the standard width mate. I know most of you are already using this, but width mate can come handy even when you have circular faces. So let me launch that particular part. So what I have here is a cylindrical disc or a cylindrical component with a flat face. So what I want to do is I want to create a width mate so that uh, this disc is evenly it's symmetrically moves along these two angled faces. So it's really simple to create a width mate. Go to assembly, click on the mate. Under advanced mates you find this width mate here. So selections are it can be a little bit tricky, but for this it's mostly straightforward because I chose a simple example here. The width selections would be the couple of angled faces, and the tab selection would be the circular face that I'm going to pick now. And SolidWorks will create a nice width mate which will allow the disk to move in symmetry with the other two angled faces. So you don't have to use width mate just for flat surfaces or flat faces. You can as well use them for other geometry as well. So that is width mate. The next thing and the last thing I think I have in assembly is something called as multi-mate. I'm pretty sure not many of you use this. So let's say you have you're working with cylindrical components, and I have on my screen 4 different components. All of them are more or less cylindrical, and if I want to create mates between these two, the traditional or the conventional way is go launch the mate command and create mate between 1 and 2, and then 2 and 3, and then 3 and 4. But what I want to show you today is something called as multi-mate. It's really interesting and it saves a lot of time, and it saves a lot of information. Like you don't have to create 4 different mates or 3 different mates. Instead you can boil it down to one. So you see this mate icon in the selection selection box here with thunder icon. So that is the multiple mate mode. You select multiple mate mode, you select the primary reference. So this would be your common reference or the primary reference. Let me keep this as the common reference, or actually I'll lose this. Yeah, let me return that. And now I'll select all the other components that I want to align or mate this to. So clicking those surfaces will actually create a multi-mate among them. So it's just one mate, but every component is now in concentricity with the other components. So you're eliminating a lot of information by using eliminating the need for a lot of mates by using multi-mate. So that is my assembly tips and tricks for you. And the last thing I want to show you is drawings. I promise I won't take more than a couple of minutes. I think we are already past our stipulated time. Okay, what I have here is a assembly drawing here on my screen. So what I wanted to show you is I already showed you how to move views and move tables comfortably without having to pick the edges. I'll also now show you how to create making notes simpler. Let me delete this guy. Okay. So what I have here is again I'm going to my design library for this. So in my design library, I can actually save notes. I'm pretty sure this is not something which is done as a standard practice, but it's definitely a good practice to have this. Like what I can have is standard notes placed onto my, saved onto my library. If you want to look into how to create this, just go to SolidWorks help and search for create styles, and it will show you how to create, this is called a style note. And it will actually save a lot of time. Every time, let's say, most of your drawings have the similar notes, you can actually save this and keep it as an annotation, and then you can make use of this. It's showing a broken link, but that's not a problem. Let me just quickly fix it. What this is referring to is some of the components. So all I have to do now is go and click that particular balloon, so that now it is referring to a particular component. You can actually place these balloons inside your notes. And one more cool thing is, you can drag and drop these notes as such. Like I'm dragging and dropping a couple of notes here. Okay, so what if I want to add this node, this particular node that I have dragged into the already existing nodes? I can actually drag and drop them onto it, and it'll add them to the already existing nodes. So it's very simple. All you have to do is drag and drop, and it'll add to the already existing node annotation. How to achieve this? I mean, usually it won't take it unless you specify a specific option. So follow me here to your system options, drawings, where you can disable, or you can uncheck this particular option, disable node merging when dragging. This is by default checked on, so whenever you drag and drop one node onto the other, it won't merge. But if you want to merge, just uncheck this so that it will enable you to merge different nodes onto each other. This can be a real time saver for all those manufacturing companies out there who are listening in. If you are creating manufacturing drawings on a day-to-day basis, and if you're dealing with nodes on a day-to-day basis, I recommend strongly that you have your standard nodes saved onto a style file. This is with an extension SLD NOTES TL. So standard solid nodes style. So you can save notes as annotations, as styles, and then you can comfortably drag and drop them onto your drawing screen. So I think I'll wrap it up because we're already short of time. We're already running out of time. If you have any questions, please let me know. Let me pull up my contact information for you. Oh wait, I think I missed out one really neat point here. Let me just do it real quick. I'm pretty sure you'll love it. I showed you copy with mates, right? I showed you how to save time with copy with mates. What I have here is even more cooler, even more time saving. It's called feature driven patterns. See, I have a component, standard component like a screw here, and I want to replicate this operation to all the other holes. I can use copy with mates for sure, but I can have a even more cooler tip for you. What you can do is go to assembly, go to a feature driven pattern. So this is really helpful if you have a lot of standard holes and standard fasteners that you're using. So go to feature driven pattern and select your component that you want to pattern, and then select the driving feature. So all you are doing is in the second selection, you are selecting the driving feature. So all you are doing is selecting the pattern. So one click and all the other fasteners are added. So you don't have to worry about the mates, etc., because everything else is taken care of. So this is even quicker than copy with mates. I'll repeat the operation for these other fastener here. So go to feature driven component pattern from your assembly command manager, assembly toolbar. Select the component that you want to pattern, and select the driving feature, which is usually the pattern. So once you select the seed feature and the driving feature, the pattern will be created on its on a single click. So a real time saver. Not many of users use this, but I always keep recommending them to use this. But for this to happen, you need to have a pattern. Like if I open up this, I would have created a pattern for my holes here. It might be a linear pattern, it might be a curve driven pattern, etc. So that's my last tip for you. Thanks for listening in. We appreciate your time, and we hope this will make you use SolidWorks faster and in a more efficient way. Please drop in your questions. I will answer them. Okay, someone wants to know about the S key. It's a shortcut toolbar. It's a shortcut key to launch your shortcut toolbar. All you have to do is go to your SolidWorks environment, whether you're in part mode, assembly, design, drawing, etc. It doesn't matter. All you have to do is click your S key and it will launch a shortcut key bar. If you want help about this, just type shortcut toolbar in your SolidWorks search or in Google. You'll get enough information or enough guidance on how to configure it. Can we control the size of magnifying glass? No, the size of magnifying glass can be controlled, but instead what you can do is you can zoom in and out. As I showed you earlier, it is independent. It zooms independently of the main view, so you don't have to really worry about that. How to use the G key to see section view? Yeah, hit the G key first. The question is how to use G key to see the section view. You are using Alt in conjunction with the G key in order to see the section view. So just holding down G key will launch the magnifier, and now you make use of Alt. Hold down Alt to see the section view. Please guide to create a note in design library. I know many of you would be interested in this, especially all the manufacturing guys out there who are doing manufacturing drawings. I mean, it will take a little bit of time for me to go through the whole process. Just type SolidWorks, note styles in SolidWorks search, NOTE space style. It will take you, it will guide you how to create a note in the design library. So you can have all your standard notes, and you can drag and drop them on the fly. So that is really helpful. So thanks guys, thanks for tuning in. I'll be putting up this webinar recording online, so you can actually download it and have access to it. I know there was a little bit of time delay between the screen due to, I think, the huge turnout of the audience. That might be one reason. So I recommend, if you want to have this as a reference, just download the video file, or and I'll also be putting up the presentation so that you can have access to it. We'll be sending you the email link tomorrow. The follow-up email will go out tomorrow sometime around noon, so that you have a link to access the recorded webinar also. So thanks guys, we appreciate your time. Please stay tuned for the next webinar. This is the first webinar in the calendar year 2012, and we'll be following it up with a series of webinars that are going to improve your productivity and improve your SolidWorks experience. And we also have something called as user group. I'm pretty sure some of you are already aware of it. We have a Bangalore SolidWorks user group. Please check out the website basug.in. I repeat, BASUG, Bangalore Area SolidWorks User Group. We keep meeting, once every couple of months, just to network among peers and to share knowledge. It will be a very interesting forum to meet all the users. Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned for further emails. You get links to download the webinar as well as information about the next webinar also. Thanks, guys.